Hi, I'm Matt.
Hey, I'm Bianca.
And we are from Club Sapphire.
Yes, we are.
And we've been gone a little while. We've been going on lifestyle cruises.
Oh, it's good to be back in the saddle again. I don't know. Not to say we haven't been, but...
Yeah, well, it's been nice that the club's been open as long as it has, so that was good practice for us to go on this cruise that had 4,000, 5,000 lifestyle people on it. So if you want to come with us next time, just let us know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's a party of a lifetime. Party of a lifetime. But we will be getting closer to the Westport events that are coming up in the spring as well. So
I cannot wait. Love Westport trips.
All lifestyle events are good events.
Yeah, they are. Doing this hobby that we love to do, but then getting to travel too, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, nothing.
And hanging out with like your friends and fucking them or not.
So so we had this interesting conversation with another couple on the cruise where we said, wow, this is a really interesting topic that we've actually never really talked about too much, which is kind of rare because we've done so many of these videos that to actually have something that we haven't talked about is pretty impressive in itself. But we were talking about consent, and there's this concept that comes up a lot that you hear about. If it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. Okay, and we've always agreed with that. It's like that actually makes a lot of sense. You want, of course, to be with someone who's just like, yes, I want to have sex with you. I'm so excited because that's going to be the best time. And then on the other end of that, you don't want to take one for the team, which is, of course, another term that we use a lot.
Well, and that's something that we've often said, giving you advice about don't take one for the team.
Because we've been in situations early on in our lifestyle time where one of us would take one for the team and just not be enthusiastic about it at all, and just be like, well, I'm doing this for you, and we didn't have that great of an experience, or one of us did, the other one did not, and then we kind of grew into just not making sure that we didn't ever take one for the team. If it wasn't a four-way or they didn't do separate room like we might do, then it's just not going to happen.
Well, and I wonder if that was one of the reasons that guided us into separate room, is that you don't have to worry about that, taking one for the team. If you're going separate directions, well, I guess you're still separate room doesn't mean that you're separate couples necessarily. So never mind, forget all that I just said.
Well, but it can
the point
mean
is
that.
It can mean that. So you may be off with a woman, a unicorn or something, and I may be off with some couple or whatever, like we're separate. We're not taking one for the team at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
That was very...
I feel like my brain was going faster than my mouth could talk, and I couldn't make it all come out.
You're still on vacation. I get it.
I am.
So anyway, that brought us to actually this third option, which we like I said, we've never talked about it. We've never mentioned it, but there is this line, okay, and to extend on this, of course, there's the term of compersion. Okay, now compersion, if you're not familiar with the term, is if I see her having sex with another guy and she is just really enjoying it and she is ecstasy all over her face and she's moaning and doing all the good stuff, I have a big old smile on my face because I am enjoying the fact that she is enjoying herself. Okay, that is compersion. Even if I'm not receiving anything, I'm not doing anything, I just happen to see that she is happy, which makes me happy. That's compersion. Okay, so this level between the enthusiastic yes and the taking one for the team, there is this middle ground that seems to come up sometimes that is like, it's not an enthusiastic yes, but it's a, okay, I sure, because of compersion. You and the guy are hitting it off. Oh my God, you're mad. I want to have sex with him. And I'm like, yeah, or actually that even came up with us fairly recently. It was opposing that way, where it was just kind of like the woman and I hit it off very quickly, and we were at a big event, and the guy and you had hardly talked to each other at all, and then the woman was like, hey, we can go back to our place, and we're like, I'm like, Bianca, what do you think? And you're like, yeah, sure, fine. But you didn't really have much of an opinion on the guy,
right?
But you were okay enough with him that it was, I wouldn't call that an enthusiastic yes,
but it wasn't I really don't want to do this. It was I think it'll be fine.
I think it'll be fine.
You know, like he, you know, yeah, it wasn't, I didn't feel like I would be angry about it. I didn't feel like I would be upset about it. I didn't feel like I wouldn't have an enjoyable time.
Right.
I just didn't feel like I had reached the connection that I usually like to have. But I was also kind of in this, my own personal thing of, I kind of want to go with the flow.
Sure.
Now, there are certain people or couples where you might be very enthusiastic about the woman, but I'm going to have a hard no. This was a person where it wasn't a hard no at all. It was, okay, sure, that sounds fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't super excited about it, but I ended up having a great time, so it worked out.
Which I kind of got that vibe from them,
right,
that it would be a good time.
Well, and obviously I got that vibe as well, because
yeah.
it wasn't a hard no.
Right. And so...
But we've also been with people before, too, where we had, you know, a couple that we were with, and we were playing, and it was just fine. But then I found that, like, you know, we would play with them again or whatever, and I just couldn't get excited about it. I just couldn't get, I just was like, ugh.
Well, there are definitely couples.
And it was like, it kind of clicked in my brain that I wondered if I was taking one for the team at that point, because I knew you really enjoy being with this person, and I was like, I really enjoy half of the couple, not the entire couple. And it's not that I don't like the other person. I don't feel like I have, like, I'm kind of like, been there, done that. I don't need to go there again. That.
That's probably
don't
the best
need to go
way.
there again. And I had a fine time. It was okay. I'm not complaining about it.
Right.
But I don't need to repeat that again. And so I think in my head, if we continue, like, because you have such a good time with her, and I go with him,
and you don't want to
and I don't really want to, am I taking one for the team?
Yes.
Or am I, like, I mean, it's not horrible. He's very nice to me. It's not the worst thing in the world. You really enjoy it. And I enjoy them as people. I just don't enjoy him in the bedroom.
But I'm not so hard up that I'd be like, this is the only woman that wants to have sex with me. We have such this great connection, which we do.
Right.
But if we never play again, so be it, because I wouldn't want to do that to you, in the sense it's like, you're just going to have to just accept the fact that you don't want to have sex with them. Because there have been times on both of our ends over all these years of doing this where there were times, especially when it came to playing more than once with somebody.
Right.
You know, you and the guy just totally hit it off. Oh my God, this is the greatest sex ever. And then the woman, we were like, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. And there are times where I'm like the same thing, where I'm like, yeah, I would do it again. Other times where I'm like, I just don't feel it. I just don't really want to.
Yeah.
And you can we just kind of break it off at that point. That in that sense is taking one for the team. But there's definitely that time where you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, all right, where it's not enthusiastic by any means, but it's I don't know, good enough. I don't know. It just doesn't sound very positive.
Right.
But it is something that I tend to think, after we've talked to a few people about this, when this came up in conversation, that it seems to be a very common thing that occurs, even though you hear this form of consent that if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no. But it can be a yes with a kind of a little asterisk of like, you know, like, God, I hope this is good. Like you would have been with that gentleman, this new couple that we met, where you're like, I don't really feel too much of a connection yet, but he's hot enough. He seems like a nice guy. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We were also going to play in the same room, so I felt like I would be safe because you were there.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have felt if we'd have gone to separate rooms. Maybe I would have changed
I don't
my
think
mind.
I hope so, and I would tend to think that I wouldn't even have gone that direction at that point, because you hadn't connected with the guy. If you and him had connected and started making out in the public place and just, you know, hit it off like you sometimes do, then that might have been a different story. If they do that, we don't even know. But that doesn't even matter, because that's not our goal, is separate room.
No.
And a lot of people have actually asked us, because we had so many conversations recently about this, because some people, there were people that we talked to that were brand new, and some of them were like, how can you even think about doing separate room? That's part of the enjoyment of it.
Which is something a thought that we had when we first started. I remember vividly thinking, people in that are in relationships and go into separate rooms are on their way to divorce. Like,
Right.
I remember we've talked about that. Like, they must not love each other. Like, we had those same thoughts that a lot of people out there have. And we got the opportunity to explain it to a lot of new people, our thought process.
At least our thought process.
Our thought process, our journey on why we prefer, not that we prefer, but we do like separate room.
Yeah.
And I would tell them that it gives us the opportunity to take your time with that person. Oftentimes, both couples are at different speeds.
Yeah.
So if you're on the same bed, in the same room, even if you're on separate beds is a little bit easier than if you're on the same bed. But if you're going at different speeds, one couple does a lot more foreplay, the other couple just gets into it, that kind of stuff. The speed thing can
mess with the vibe of everyone.
Of the room and everyone in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know I find myself when, while I'm enjoying myself, I know my partner, I know Matt, and if the partner that I'm with is going real fast, I'm thinking, this is going to end faster than him because he hasn't even started yet, and then what's going to happen? What do you do?
Right.
So, we like separate rooms so that we can really explore each other and take your time and not have that pressure of, I need to speed up or slow down or, sitting in the corner half dressed or fully dressed talking about whatever, and then you're distracting the other people from their time and all that kind of stuff. So for us, it worked so that we can really take the time. And I know I've been with people before who, he ended up having a little bit too much alcohol and his equipment didn't work. And we sat and talked the whole time. And then eventually...
And you had a great time.
And I had a great time. And he didn't have the pressure or the negativity that he might have felt had we been sitting there watching his wife get fucked by my husband.
Right.
So, there's something nice about that. We got to bond a little bit more so that when everything was working and we were able to meet up again another time.
It became an enthusiastic yes.
It was a very, because that's true. That time it was not an enthusiastic yes. It was a fine, okay, I guess. But the second time it was definitely an enthusiastic, I can't wait to get back there, because we had that special moment. We had that time to really connect and talk to each other. And that is one of the things I do like, because when you're in a playroom or whatever, it's distracting to have just regular conversations. And, you're distracting other people around you if you're done. Oftentimes in a playroom, if there are people around you playing, sometimes there's people standing over you wondering when you're going to be done. And if you've paused to have a conversation, you need to get your ass out of there because the next person is ready to go. So if you're in separate rooms, you can take that time. Sure.
But we're not saying that you shouldn't go for an enthusiastic yes. That's always the goal.
Yes.
That is always the goal. If you can find that, and it's and I know we went a little off track there, but
I'm still on vacation mode.
Yeah. But the reason that you were saying that is when it comes down to it, you want to get to that enthusiastic yes. If it ends up being just kind of an okay, you got a little bit more of a stair to climb, or if you happen to be in the situation that you were saying where the woman and I have this great connection, you and the guy don't. If they happen to have hall passes, then I'll go off with her and we'll have a great time while you go and just be social or whatever. Right. You're not having sex with him because you don't have interest in sex with him. That does work in that situation, because in that point it would have been taking one for the team, for you to play with him. And we've run into that, and we run into couples all the time that it's not a four-way connection. Four-way connections are one of the most difficult things to deal with in lifestyle. It's great when it happens. It's great when it happens even larger number than that, when you find a good group of orgy people that all 8 of you or 12 of you play really well together. But it happens. You just have to keep
trying.
Meeting lots and lots of people, doing all that kind of stuff. Meet all the people and play with the good ones.
Everyone.
Also
that you
good.
Want to play.
Everything that you really want to. That you're enthusiastically yes, or at least just kind of, I don't know. We'd have a name for that. Medium yes, where it's like it's a yes. It's a yes.
Soft yes.
A soft yes. Oh, a soft yes. That's not bad. Like you're gonna have to try real hard to make it hard.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Make my dick enthusiastic. You can do it, Bianca.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
Yes. And with that, make sure you go to www.clubsapphire.net. Check out all the great events that are coming up. There's a lot of them coming up, including New Year's, which is always one that does sell out. So
make sure you get your tickets.
Nice and early.
Yes.
Perfect. And then you've got some dancing things.
I do. We have a couple of performances in December. And then, so December 11th and December 18th, we're performing, myself and a couple of my students. And then we're also, I'm doing lap dance classes those same nights. So check out the website and sign up for a lap dance class. Come dance with me. It's basically a class that I'll show you how to do a dance for your partner. Mm-hmm. You can do it for Christmas.
So that he can give you an enthusiastic yes.
Yeah. That's the goal.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.